Yo, how's it going, folks? It's me again, your boy Tabo, and this is another session of SVG for the web. Now, today we're going to talk about transformations and the different types of transformations that you can apply to the different shapes. So I'm just going to jump into it and then show you how that works. So I'm going to, like usual, start creating my HTML file and then my SVG. Always remember to give it a width 100%. Well, you don't have to give it 100%, but I will. Alright, so in order to illustrate this, I'm going to use a rect, and then I will place it at 0. So I'll say x equals to 0, y equals to 0, and then I will give it a width of 100. And I'll say a height of 100 as well. And then I'll give it a filling of red. You know, have no strokes for now. Okay, so now let's just check it out and see what it looks like. Okay, there we go. This is our rect over here. Now, here you have these transformations that you can use. Alright, so you can always move it around using these. Like, as you've seen with other examples or in other tutorials that I've made, I've always used these values usually to move the object around. So you can do that. That's one option. Or maybe for things like a line, you know, it's a bit different, because with the line you would have to basically change the values or the points on your line, which is a bit tedious, because then you would have to go, if you have a very complex drawing, then you cannot afford to, then it's basically the same as redrawing it again. Every time that you want to move it, then you have to redraw it again on a different location on your canvas, which does not make any sense. So if you wanted then to have another way of transforming your elements without a lot of complications, then you have basic transformations that you can apply. So I'm gonna place this in the 0 point once again, and then I'm gonna use another transform. You've seen me using this also in some examples, but now I will explain exactly how this works. So you've got transform, and then this transform has different types of transformations that you can apply. You can translate. Translate just means you can move your element around and place it at different points on the canvas. The other one is scale, so you can scale it as you please. And then you have rotate, so you can rotate your element as you please. And then you have skew, which allows you to skew the shape of your element or your drawing. No, your shape, yes. So these are the different transforms that you can play around with. So they have their advantages in the sense that if you have a group of drawings that you want to move as one, then you can use this kind of transformation. You just put them in a group and then you use this transform method. And it is also relative, meaning that if you already have some values over here, so if you've already placed values, let's say it's 50 and 50, then this will add whatever value that you specify to that value. So if it's 50-50 and then I say translate 100 units, it will basically be the equivalent of 150 units. So it will add to the current position. So that's how that would work. And translate takes two values. Because it's a two-dimensional drawing, if it's three-dimensional, then it would take three values. So the two values are your x and y, of course. So in this case, I'll say I want my x to be 100 and my y to be 100. Okay, so now let's go. Okay, so this is where it is. If I make this 0 and make that 0, then it will go back to the 0 position. Okay, so I've got my 100 and let's say 250 just to vary it a bit. So there's my position there. another value, and how you also assign that is that you use the word translate to put them inside brackets, and you have space between the different values. Okay, now you have scale, which is another attribute that you can use. Now scale takes two values, but you can also specify just one value. So if you place one value, then that value will be applied to both coordinates, your x and your y. So if I just say scale 5, then it's just going to scale my x and y both equally. But if I want to be specific, then I will say 5 and 2, and this is what I will get, so you can just play around with the values as much as you want, just to get a feel. So that's how that would work. Then the third one is rotate. Now rotate, it works in degrees. So if you wanted to rotate it by 45 degrees, then I'll say 45, and there you go. So I've got a diamond like shape, even though it looks distorted. Well, it looks this way because because of the scaling over here. Okay, I'll just say for now that's that. So now I've got a diamond like that. Okay, so according to because of the scale, then it looked the way that it did. So I've rotated it 45 degrees, and then I will try to put it more in the middle. So I'll say I'll try 700, see where that places that. It's more like it. So I'll say 800. Okay, so I will increase the scale to 5 so that it's nice and big. I translate, then here I'll just make it 200. Try to place it more in the middle. Okay, that's fine. So there we go. So you can rotate it by 75 degrees. There we go. If you notice that this rotation is happening not in the center, but here from the point of origin. Now it's because with the rect, it starts drawing it from the left corner. So it doesn't draw this shape from the center outwards. It basically starts drawing it from this corner to your right. So because of that, then whenever you rotate it, then it keeps rotating just from that corner, So it just keeps rotating in that. So this is the center point, and then it's just rotating or revolving around this point over here. And with a circle, it is different. It rotates, it centers in the middle, so it just revolves around that point. So when you rotate it, then it moves around it. With a rect, it starts from that position. So that is something that you should always keep in mind and be aware of. So that's how a rect transforms. So we'll take the same, I'll just do this and then use these same values for a circle so that you can see the difference. And then I will just decrease the scale. I'll just make it 1. Maybe 1 is too small. I'll make it 2. And then another 1, 2. Okay, with no rotation. Okay, there we go. I'll place this one, say 50. Oh, okay, yeah. No, I was freaked out because I thought that something wrong was happening, but it's not, because there's another one underneath it, then it looks like it's rectangular. So that's what freaked me out. Ah man. Okay, so I'll turn this into a circle, and then I'll say CY, CXCY, and then the circle takes a radius, which is represented by R, so I'll say 50, which is maybe gonna be too bad. Let's try 25 first. Okay, 50 was fine. Okay, so there we go. So now we've got these two shapes. So I'll make this one yellow, and then maybe just move it a bit, translate it more, let's say about 50 units, see where that places it. Okay, alright, so now we have these two shapes. I will illustrate it again. Let me just take it a little further down so that it can have enough distance to do nice transformations on it. So now I'm gonna, this is the thing, yes, with the circle it's actually not so visible when you, okay, I'll use an ellipse. Sorry, let me just use a better shape, ellipse, because you can't see it rotate because it's round, so you don't actually see any difference. What I'll do is, yes, I'll use an ellipse, and then I will have to change this. I think it's RX, and then RY. RY will be 40. Okay, there we go. So that's the shape that we're going to be working with. So then we will see when we rotate it, I'll rotate this 45 degrees, and you see it's rotating from the center. Now this one, if I rotate it, then it should be somewhere here. I'm gonna rotate it about, let's say 60 degrees. See that? Let's go back 0, 60 again. You see, so it's just moving around this point. You see, the point of origin is there, so it's still on rotating around. It's like an anchor which is keeping it at this point, and then everything is just rotating in this fashion. But that's how the transforms work. Okay, so now we have another attribute that we can use, which is skew. So now we're gonna say skew x. Let's see what that does. Let's skew it by 10. Now you see the bottom part there moved. That is interesting. Okay, and then we can also skew it on the y. So let's say skew y, and then we'll skew it by 20. So this is what we get. Just to make that clear, let's remove that so that we can, you see. So yeah, these are the different transformations that you can apply. So obviously when you, let's try and skew our ellipse. Let's see what that does so that we can try to get an idea. I will remove the rotation so that we can see what is going on. So this is what happened with the skew. I will remove skew once again, take it back to how it used to look. That's what it looks like originally. And with skew along the y, this is what we get. You can apply it to the x, and this is what we get. So yeah, these are the basic transformations that you can use. So just play around with them, see what you can do with them, apply them to the different shapes, and yeah, come up with interesting ways that you can use this attribute. And like I said before, if you want to, then you can also apply it to groups. So in a group, it works the same way, not different at all. It's just that now you are applying it to different objects. I will remove, let me just make my screen a little bit smaller so I can remove all of these. And remove that. Okay, then I can apply then the transformation here. I'll say transform. and I'll translate it a few units. I'll say 800. Let's see what that does. So there, okay, like these, I'll have to then move them up again. So I'll just say, let's say 400 there. Here we go. So now we've got these two over here, and I'll give them different colors so that they're different. So now you can then apply these transformations. I'll say skew, just to see what kind of shape we're gonna get out of that. So let's say skew X, and then we'll skew it by 20. So now the whole group is skewed, let's kind of exaggerate that a bit. See, wow, that's like crazy right there. Ooh, okay. Yeah, so you can just play around, see what other cool stuff you can come up with. Rotate. Let's rotate to 120. See what that does. So yeah, this is pretty interesting. So just to know that you have options in how you can translate or move your object around. Yes, this is the way. You've got your transformations, which are very flexible, and they're relative, which is nice. Okay, so this is it for transformations, so you can have fun with it. Okay, so now I'm going to end this lesson here, and you can have fun with everything that you've learned. So yeah, love and peace to you, my brothers and sisters. Till the next one, I'm out. If you thought this video was good and helpful, please press that like button. For any questions or input, just remember to leave a comment. And if you want to see more videos like this, then subscribe to my channel and I'll keep more stuff coming your way.